Well, thank you. Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order at this time. Please turn all cell phones, electronic devices to off or vibrate. And Ms. Kelly, would you please lead us in prayer and pledge me?
Our dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you, Lord, for this day. We thank you, Lord, for the rain that you have sent, and we know we will be blessed with more. We ask, Lord, that you will watch over this meeting, Lord, guide and direct us, Lord, in the path that we need to take. In your precious name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ms. Jolene. Sorry, Ms. Jolene, I thought you were going to meetings might be later. Wow. I know, I'm getting in trouble every time. All right, consider approval of the minutes of the October 19, 2015 meeting. Y'all have time to review.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting, October 19th meeting.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Visitors who are not on the regular agenda will be given an opportunity to address the council on any subject at this time. I've been told that you're on the agenda, so it's your turn.
Well, thank you, council, and it's a real privilege to be able to come up and fun this evening and speak with you. I'd like to do a little tap dance before I begin, if that's going to help my cause.
Depends on your cause.
Okay. Anyway, my name is Leela Cox Kelly. My mother is Winnie Cox, and my father is the late Doug Cox. And I am speaking on behalf of my mother this evening. She's 93 and on a walker, and so I asked if she wanted to try to attend, and she didn't think she was up to it this evening, which you better be glad it's me. But at any rate, what this is about, my mother and father lived 908th Street. They have lived there 40 years. I was 17 when we moved into that home. Don't do the math. At any rate, we have a situation that has happened behind us. It's now been an ongoing situation for 2 years. It's the property that burned down 2 years ago. I'm sorry, if you go behind Other Daddy's house, that would be 7th Street on the corner. Is that 900? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it 901
I believe that's correct.
Do I need to say the name, or is that not proper to do so?
Yes.
Judy, Dean, whatever her newly married name is.
Okay.
Okay, so this happened about 2 years ago, and we're very lucky that a lot of homes didn't burn down that particular day. As I said, my mother's 93, and she has nurses at that time that lived with her. There was a lot of smoke, you know, it could have been bad. At any rate, that house was gutted, nothing left. And so, come with me now to May, when I arrived to be with my mom. We were in the process and made some major decisions to put her house for sale. It was a very difficult decision to make, but it's one of those things that, you know, we decided, and Mother was ready to do so. And so the process of getting the house ready, you know, is an immense deal, and going into that garage and being in the yard every day and noticing everything. So when you have to look at that property and you really take a great look at it, it's unconscionable the way that it has been left for the length of time that it's been left. We have had and given them enough time to do whatever they need to do. And so, also this summer, we had all that rain, and basically the health hazard of all of that was left in the backyard. Needless to say, with the mosquitoes breeding and a rogue skunk that came out of a pile during the day, the reason I know that, I was taking things to the trash, and that's when I saw it coming out of the yard. Now, the health part of it was most unnerving to me. Now here's the situation. It has deep devalued my mother's property. We've had a couple of people interested in the home. That didn't work out because of the situation behind them. Now, if any of you see it from the road, you really need to go look in the backyard and see it from all, the whole view. This is the problem that I'm having. And what I found out today when I came in, now, I came in August, and I spoke with Mr. Is it Van Zandt?
Correct.
And Mr. Nixon. Both of them, that was in August, because I was trying to get ahead. I feel like I need to be addressing you.
No, I'm fine.
At any rate, I spoke with them in August, came forward because I felt like I needed to find out what was going on. Okay, so I come in and speak with them, and they tell me that the house, y'all were getting ready as the council to vote on, condemning that property. And I said, fine. When do you think that's going to be? And he said, probably beginning of October. So that did happen, and it's been condemned. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what I'm trying to find out are answers to the problem. Now, I thought that once the property was condemned, then the city would come in and level it, and then the people that were responsible pay that. Is that correct or incorrect?
It's correct in the view of what people see, but behind the scenes, we still have paperwork to be filed. We still have to get everything certified and done before we do it, and then it has to be placed on the docket. And I know that
state law provides them 6 months to have relief. We can condemn a property.
So after you condemned it, and they have an additional 6 months?
Yes, ma'am, that's state law.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's called a taking. And
when we condemned it, we gave them 6 months,
months.
the minimum amount, to have it done, and then we come in and take care of it.
All right, then, so we're going to have to endure this another 6 months, is that correct?
Well, technically only 5 months.
Okay.
Yes.
It's probably gonna be less than that. I mean,
Okay.
we can put it on, I can have it set for 6 months to the day, and we can have that thing bulldozed in about an hour.
Right, it's gonna take that long.
Exactly. They are giving relief through the statute of coming back, making repairs, and what they need to do. I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think,
There's
obviously.
nothing to salvage.
Exactly. Short of them just walking in and just saying, we'll give you the structure, you tear it down, that kind of sort of thing.
Is there any way you can get the owners to come out and try to clean up the alley and the backyard? There are piles of things that if they really, now let me explain something to you. I can tell you this. Winnie and Doug Cox, we've got Jim Bickle across the street. On the other side of me is Clay Earnshaw. We've got great neighbors of older homes, and all around that block, it's a group of very nice people that have been in their homes a long time. Now, I'm not asking much, but I think the wherewithal of just getting out and trying to straighten it up a little bit in the backyard and around would probably, leveling it's one thing, but we're coming up on the holidays. And, Judy and they don't get to look at it every day. They get to drive out to Talcott. They don't live behind it or around it. I don't even go up that side road anymore because I can't stand it. The last time I showed Mother, she just put on her little sunglasses and said, baby, drive on. I just can't look at it. And so, that's where we are. I'm not, what I want you to know is, this is not about being ugly or, we're going about this the right way. And that is why I'm here this evening. And now I have found out what I need to know. It's gonna
How much debris are you talking about in the alley?
Oh, it is. Sometimes when they come to work on it,
Who's working on it?
well, I've seen Bob there and Judy coming in and out doing whatever. There's nothing to salvage, but when they use our trash, in the alley, yes. It's stuffed full with whatever. So I have to walk all the way down under into the alley to empty my trash because of that situation. The backyard is a hot mess. There are piles of things. It's just not health reasons. It's just not good. something that would alleviate a lot of that looking so bad. I know they can't, do a lot, but they could do that. And around the house, try to keep it mowed and looking at least clean. There's plastic bottles in the alley that have been there before the fire. It's just a matter of just being good citizens and taking care of your property. I think that's all I'm asking. Is that?
What we can do as far as the debris, the trash we can definitely, if they're doing construction and they're putting it in the dumpster, they can take it to the recycling center versus putting it in the dumpster.
Right.
And then if they keep doing it, we can get them for illegal dumping. We can write them up for a code violation, as far as weeds, as far as debris. I mean, it kind of depends on what they have back there.
Right.
Well,
you might want to
but the thing is, we can write them up for a code, but if they're not really interested in keeping the house or salvaging the house, I mean, that's about the extent that we can go to it. We can write them up for a code violation, and then they have 30 days, and then they have 90 days. And then Texas is a very private property friendly state, and they really handcuff us on what we can and cannot do.
Well, okay. Well, you've answered all my questions. Thank you very much. I will then try to not be so angry.
You have every right to be.
And here's the deal, I want to leave you with this. I'll leave you on this one. Judy's from Oklahoma, and she had a bathtub out front, claw feet, that had OU on it. Now, there was one point about 4.
That's absolutely a violation of the code that we have.
Don't get her all excited
And so,
That was a joke, for the record.
anyway, at the end of the day, there's a red and white barn that she did, I guess, for our purposes, or the OU-ness, and told Mother at one point, about 3 in the morning, I said, there's part of me, I'm going to take some paint, and I'm getting ready just to slather the OU on the tub and get rid of that, because I'm tired of looking at it. Anyway, don't tell anybody else, I really wasn't.
Burnt orange is a beautiful color.
It's beautiful, that's what I just. But that could have possibly started something. So anyway, that is my purpose. Thank you for your time. And so we will wait. And if anybody is interested in buying a house, you can contact me. And Ellie, it was nice seeing you.
Maybe you want to do that.
And may I leave the door?
Yes, ma'am.
Say,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
You're more than welcome.
Thank
Thank you for your time. Thank you very much.
Good
sir. We will look
Look
into
forward.
Oh, you can get a better attitude.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
Yeah. Okay. Are we ready? You got it?
Yeah.
Good. We good?
I just forgot what day it is.
Wait a second. I don't think that burnt 2 years ago, though. I think it was in January.
It was January this year.
Yeah, I think it was January this year, December, January this year. Okay.
Was that the lady that came in?
Yes.
Said she had hired a crew.
She hired a crew to work on it?
And we gave her 6
6
months.
months.
We condemned it and gave her 6 months.
Right. That's perfect.
I don't know if there's anything else we can do right now.
No. If we do anything with it, it's considered a taking,
Right.
and you can ask the city of Dallas how that worked out.
They're just, all they're doing is clearing stuff out of it, right? Stuff they want to keep.
No, they can see anything they can do.
I think she was trying to repair it.
I don't think that's repairable. Thomas said she was gonna tear it down.
Mm-hmm.
She said she was going
Right
to
there,
do that. That's
we're
right,
gonna
that's
get
right.
it down, because it's burnt all through the center of the house.
Well, and I think, wasn't she trying to get somebody to take it down for parts and
Something like that, yeah. I mean, we could knock it down for free. And take us
well,
down.
yeah, I mean, sometimes you can make money on some money on that.
Yeah.
All right, moving along. Discuss and take action to pass an order to cancel the city officers election for November 3rd, 2015, tomorrow. Better hurry. Council.
Make a motion to cancel the elections, for November, city officers election for November 3rd.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, discuss and take action to pass a proclamation to declare November 21st, 2015 as Ballinger Day of Thanksgiving. You should have that proclamation in your packet. And who brought this?
Ministerial Alliance?
Yeah.
Mr. Lance brought it. Okay. Then they're doing the feast on that day. Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the proclamation to declare November the 21st as Ballinger Day of Thanksgiving.
Thank you, thank you. Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, I got these. You want these? You want the others? You want Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Alrighty, discuss and take action to pass a resolution giving the Chamber of Commerce the authorization to have a Christmas in Ole Ballinger on November 28, 2015. Ms. Damack, is that what you did for?
That's what I'm here for. On behalf of the Ballinger Area Chamber of Commerce, we're asking permission to have our Christmas parade on November 28th at 11 a.m.
Saturday, right?
Saturday, yes. Saturday and
It's November the 21st.
What? It says the 28th.
21st.
No, the
The
one above it
resolution
says,
says 21st.
the proclamation says the 21st and the resolution says 28th.
Should be 28th.
We should be on number 7.
And November
Yeah,
28th.
but he's
I'm
looking,
looking at this
he's
one.
looking at the resolution.
Oh,
The
sorry.
resolution itself needs to be 28th.
28th, you want to pass it with an amended 28th date on.
Yeah, I make a motion that we,
Gotcha.
approve the resolution giving the Chamber of Commerce authorization to have Christmas in Ballinger on November 28th with the change made to the resolution presented from November 21st to November 28th.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, thank you. I didn't catch that, Mike.
Hopefully we'll have to cancel the parade for the playing football.
On Saturday.
It's like
Playoffs.
At what time was it? 11?
11 a.m.
We'll get the same route, same route that it was last time?
Yes. It'll be
Shorter it?
6 in Hutchins to 10. Okay, Hutchins back down
And
road.
we'll still have to get permission from DOT.
Yes. So 13 pages.
And I'll send over this.
One pause.
Oh, you're pausing.
She escaped me.
She escaped.
She already 2 meetings at the moment.
Yeah.
I asked her if she was going to be in both places at once, and she said no.
She's just in the building. She's close enough, she's in the building. She's here. All right. You're good there? Okay. Good. All right. All right, moving along. Discuss and take action on the request of Rick Sonnenberg to repairs Avenue E Street and develop the lot located at 100 block of 8th Street into a parking lot.
Okay.
Mr. Rick?
Got, kind of 2 items here. Avenue E from 8th Street to approximately 10th Street is really in horrible condition. And there's some spots where if you meet opposing traffic, like at nighttime or during rain, you could really mess up your vehicle. There's some serious chuggaroos there. Hoping that the city could possibly take some action on repairing that part of the street. There seems to be a lot of traffic there, or at least used to be. More and more people are finding alternate routes to go now.
There's a lot of alternate routes right now with all that.
Yeah, and there's going to be less good alternate routes. But that particular street, though, does carry a good bit of traffic. And it's really, you have to maneuver through it to get through it if it's just one vehicle. But
Right.
if you meet somebody, it's really pretty bad. So And I don't expect y'all to necessarily take action on it, or tonight or anything, but at least keep it in mind or consider it.
Well,
A couple, if I may,
yeah,
a couple things with that. We can put material down and patch the potholes. That particular spot on Avenue E was really more of a waterway.
Right.
It's a drainage area more than anything else. We could zip it up and repave it, and it's gonna look like that in probably 5 years. The best way for us to fix that, those two blocks, but particularly between 8th and 9th Street, is to put a concrete apron in there and just essentially concrete it. Talked to Alton, thank you, Fisher. Estimated the price, and this is with current concrete prices, which has dropped. It'd be about $50,000 to do that one block.
that's 8th to 9th Street only. Because really from 9th Street to 10th Street isn't as much of a problem as far as concrete that we would have to do.
We can pay that whole, if we're gonna do, I mean, we could
Yeah,
spend.
do it right.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's the plan.
We can put some material down in there to fix the potholes and whatnot. Another thing that I noticed as I drove down the street is we're losing, part of the problem is we're losing that street to encroachment. The grass,
Right.
you look, see where Stan Bickles, or I guess it was
Right.
Stan Bickles, Ben Brickles, you see that curve. I need to check the charter, but typically everything from that curve back to the street belongs to the city. Well, there's a good 2 or 3 feet along from
Grass.
9th to
Grass
10th.
is growing out there.
That's north.
Right.
There's a lot of it between 8th and 9th Street that has grown out. And so as that grass has come out, we've lost part of our street. And so that's something we can, probably take that back and if and when we decide to concrete that, I think we need to at some point. I just don't think we can, I don't know how soon we can get to it. I don't know how soon we can do it, but I think we need to concrete that one block for
How
sure.
long is that water pipe underneath there?
How what?
How long is that water pipe?
It's a 16-inch, and then we asked Clyde about it. The 16-inch pipe is more on the side than it is in the
Oh,
middle.
it's, okay.
Yeah, but there are, and we asked for Line Locate to come out, I don't think they got it done today. To mark, because, it was Verizon, they just put new fiber in that area. I don't think they went down the middle of the street, I think that everything's off to the side. If you're driving off of 158, I can't get my bearings in Ballinger, but it'd be on the left-hand side, over by Brad Vicker's house.
I said, no, before we put concrete down, if you wanna change that stuff out.
We would.
Well, we would change it out, but we were also trying to find out where everything was before we did.
North Runnels has a water line that goes through there as well.
Right.
I don't know where that's at.
You know, our main is coming in from the plant going to the tower,
Yes.
and then what Runnels is also in there.
Yes.
So we have a fiber optic.
Yes.
Atkins
Atkins has a line on the other side.
So a lot of thought needs to go into this.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. All right,
Now, we see if there's no utilities, well, that was no brainer, but now there's utilities involved, that
yeah.
increases the
And-
challenges.
But at least you're thinking on it. And,
Right.
Yes.
um,
Yeah,
So
it's a trouble area, it's a nice way, and frankly, just to be candid, that street, 13th Street, parts of 9th Street, they really should have never been streets to begin with, they were just natural waterways.
yeah.
And
And somebody paved it and.
somebody put pavement on them and called it a street. And I guess it works for 50 years, and then, this is what you get, so.
Okay, moving on to the other part of what I'm on the agenda for is where the old Everett building used to be. And what would really be lovely is a paved parking lot there. But we do have a lot of parking problems down on 8th Street right there from time to time. And if the city would, at the very least, provide like a base material of crushed limestone, or I'm not certain what would actually go down there. I'd be glad to go down there with my little tractor in front of the loader and spread it and make a parking lot.
This is where we knocked the.
Yeah, this is where the old building was.
Right.
We've had two different things presented. One is continue the garden or whatever we call it.
Yeah.
And then the other one was a parking lot. But in every instance that we've tried to measure for a parking lot, there wasn't enough space for a parking lot as far as some of the newer vehicles, longer vehicles, tighter parking, able to get in or out for the alley.
You could do, at best, you would put angled parking along the building that has a sunroof in it.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
But the problem is you're gonna have, there's no relief out of it. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah, there's a curve on A Street. So you
Yeah,
can't-
when you turn off of A Street, you're going there, you would wanna make that a one-way. So you're not, but you can't, we gave part of that lot to Willingham, so we'd have to, you're gonna have to make a hard left and then come almost to the back of Ebb's building. Am I off? No.
You couldn't cut a curve on 8th Street?
You got a curb cut, the curb cut, there won't be the problem, it's when you get in there, how do you back out of it? Because there is no escape route, if you will.
Well, you'd have to come in and make a hard right, go out.
We have some talented drivers there. They do all sorts of parking there.
Not
Because when I first got here, that was the first thing I thought we could do. And you can pave that, we can blacktop it fairly easily. I mean, that's not too expensive. I mean, there's gonna be some costs involved, but it's not too expensive. It would be something I think we probably need in downtown. The problem is, there's just not a lot of bang for the buck. Because when we measured it out, if you take the spaces that you gotta have for parking, you're probably looking at maybe 5 spaces max. But even if you get those spaces in there, you can't get them out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I can see where if you angle park either direction, getting back out without making a U-turn in the parking lot
Yeah.
is.
On the other side, if you did do it, then you're down to maybe 3 parking spaces. If you do have to have a turnout on one end or the other.
Because ideally, where your office is, where the post office is, you turn left. If I'm going from down 8th Street from Higginbotham to your office, I'm going to turn left in that parking lot. Ideally, you would have a spot for them to come out of, but you've got cables over there for sure. You don't have, that alley is not really wide enough, and you don't really have a place for them to go. They can't really make a U-turn and then come back out the opposite way from where they came in. So I'm fumbling it, but I just know that we've looked at it. I didn't think it was gonna be all that feasible. And it's gonna produce more problems. And really, I'd love to have more parking down there. I'd love it.
We did vet it as far as angle parking, as far as straightaway parking, but then we still weren't gonna get maybe 4 or 5 spaces.
If that other building wasn't there, you could make that whole thing a parking lot.
Right.
But I am not advocating that.
Okay.
Because they fixed it.
Hmm?
If they fixed it. We didn't think they were gonna fix it.
It's for sale.
So,
I'm not advocating that, but you can turn that whole thing into a parking lot. I would love it because that means the downtown shops, there's places for people to come in and park.
Right. But even an additional 5 spaces of parking would be helpful, but it may not be cost effective for the amount of asphalt that would have to go down and.
The cost is negligible. I think it's more logistically, because I can see somebody trying to back out of that thing. Because you can't, once you go in, you gotta reverse back out to 8th Street. And if somebody's pulling in, it'd be a one-way deal. You can't.
Well, I haven't attempted it myself. I'm trying to envision, because I know there's poles there for traffic signals, and then there's a utility pole down here, but I'm thinking if I came in the alley and parked.
You're talking about coming in the alley and then turn around and coming.
Pull in the alley and pull straight in toward the Willingham building. When I decide to leave, I can just back up and then.
See, Willingham's taken, what, 30 feet?
20 deep and 60 wide, I believe.
20 deep.
That's a guess, but I mean, the back of that area that you're talking about is not all going to be there.
Well,
From Tommy Turney's building, to the edge of his building, a little bit further up from his building, back towards the alley and all the way to this alley is gonna be Williams.
Okay, all right.
We already had done that for the other building that had the swimming pool.
Well, yeah,
The trade-off as far as the carport.
so, how many feet is that lot in total?
Was much smaller than it was.
Because I wonder how many slots you could fit just straight parking, you know, not
There, there should still be five slots.
If you, what I'm trying to figure, if you can do basically a racetrack, where you come in one way and you come out the other way from that parking lot, you could put 10 parking spaces in there. The problem is that when you pull into that vacant lot, you're gonna have to turn left to get out. And when you turn left, I don't know if you can make that cut with, you understand what I'm
that
saying?
telephone pole
You got a telephone pole there, you've got,
Every telephone pole and cable,
yeah.
but turn
Why would you have to turn there? I'm thinking I could turn either way. You're talking about in the alley. Right?
Yeah, but you're not gonna be able to go straight through.
No, but what he's saying is, even if you came in from the 8th Street side and you park against the building on Sunday, you just back out and go back out 8th Street.
Back out, yeah, until someone comes in.
Yeah. But that's true all behind passing. That happens all the time.
I think I hate to take up too much time.
You're fine.
I'm missing the point. Let me draw it out here. Relay Street. Here's the alley. And there's poles right here, and there's a pole here, and just assuming this is Willingham's here. I'm thinking I could come in the alley here and park straight in to the building, and I'm thinking there'd be maybe 5 spots.
So you would come in from the alley and then go over.
I could, or I could come in from this alley or this alley, and I could leave the way or this way.
This one is the smallest of any of them.
This goes by Gene Clack's office.
Correct. But that's the smallest of any.
Can you, well, this would be a negative, because this is the lot we're talking about, this would be, only thing I'm worried about is that you got, how can you, that's gonna be a tight turn, depending on how sharp we cut it.
I'm thinking there's plenty of space in there.
Isn't
There'd really be a tight turn.
I know there's.
Now, somebody's eventually gonna scrape their car on that, but
Yeah.
it's just a bad driver.
This corner sponsored by Kid.
So,
No, it is
and,
possible.
and, you know,
Because I was thinking coming in this way and then coming out this way.
okay.
We could do this. Tell you what I'll do, I'll get the city suburban, I'll turn it. The city
Yeah,
suburban,
just try it.
the city suburban can make the turn, and I know other things.
Yeah, and then you kind of measure and see if there's 4 spaces or 5 or 6, and if they all park straight in toward that building, then they could back up, and I think there'd be plenty of space for.
So is this paid parking?
Hmm?
Is this paid parking?
Is it paid?
Is it gonna be paid parking? It's city property.
It could be. You can put your little meters up there,
I ain't no meter, you pay for both.
and, well, I could go out there and collect.
The city of Glen.
Actually, there is no such thing as meter maids anymore, you pay with a credit card.
Yep.
Yeah. Just put a box.
Just put a box.
Okay, so y'all was just kind of, all that under consideration?
We'll vet it or look at it, but we did, as the council was been over 2 years ago after the building came down, that we did say that we were gonna go on with the garden area.
Yeah. And the garden area would, I mean, it would look nice too, just, but parking spaces could be used right there.
Well, the only time the parking spaces downtown are ever really full is when we have an event. Outside of that, they're not all full.
Oh, no,
No, not right
No.
here by the post office.
Well, that's post office.
you know, the part of the problem is there's a lot of offices with 2, 3, 4 employees, and each one has their own suburban. And whatever reason, everybody thinks that park is close to their place of business. It's possible.
Okay.
Including my wife. And, before long, Stella's little beauty shop there's nowhere for anybody to park. And, I mean, it's kind of the same way throughout. So there's a lot of traffic there different times of the day. And, it's kind of hard to get a parking space if you're just gonna pop in and do something for 30 minutes.
Yeah, noon's the worst time because you have everybody going to eat there.
Yeah, like I said, there are several times a day where it's, all the spaces are taken up. Anyhow, try the Suburban and we'll take it back up sometime. All right.
Well, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you.
Thanks, sir.
So we need a motion to table this?
You just, if you want to table or take no action, one, two.
Well, I mean, the street, we're gonna work on all the streets, that's all part of what we're trying to do. We already looked at it, it's already in the mix. I don't know, the other part, we had already agreed that we were gonna do something else, but we gotta put it back on to do something else or change it, whatever y'all, whatever.
You can
But-
drive in and see if you can get in.
I think I know there's 2 telephone poles sitting there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the only way if you're gonna do it, if it comes down to it, I think it ought to be charged or paid parking per month if somebody wants to lease the parking spot. It's on city property, and therefore you just don't have anybody trying to park and get in and out of there. And say somebody comes in there, and we've checked with the Suburban, now somebody comes in with a dually crew cab, long bed, now they can't get out. That's just something to know.
Yeah.
Good thing.
I don't know, I was just thinking about how many complaints we've heard about the gazebo not being, and then we're gonna extend it.
Well, but they have been keeping it up, have they not?
I think so, but there's just been complaints, that's just saying.
Oh, I'm just saying, because I thought we had changed that, I think.
I've been happy with it, I think it's great, but I'm just saying.
Keep saying something else besides we do on gardening, I never do Colorado anyway.
Well, I can hear it now, farm. We need new plants.
Now we need
Watch
water.
water in that.
More stuff to water.
Then it's gonna be cactus.
We're gonna dry scape everything. So table, no action, whatever y'all's pleasures. Either way, I mean, we can table it and bring it back up at a later date. Or we can do no action and create a whole other agenda item. I will say this, if you table it as is, then when we bring it up, we're gonna have to bring the whole thing up. The paving of East Avenue and,
Well, Avenue E is under review.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do for that, I mean, that's in process already, so there's nothing to do until we find out everything.
But we gotta get the lighting.
The parking lot, it is quite a bit of money to asphalt that thing for 5 parking places.
I would just put some base down.
Well, but even if it's base, I mean, that's not
if you put,
doing a lot for the city. I mean, just,
So what?
it's not doing a lot for the city, it's a caliche pad.
nobody's gonna park over there. I mean, if you're gonna put base down, don't do anything, because they won't park because it'll get dirty or dusty. When it rains, if people do park there, they're gonna get stuck.
You will eventually have to put asphalt down
Yes.
on that if you do that.
Can you just put gravel with nothing?
Then you have gravel all over that sidewalk.
And every vehicle pulling in and out's gonna pull it.
Isn't that sidewalk on?
In front
No,
of the
the
building?
front one's there.
No,
The front one's there.
the sidewalk's still there.
The front of the building, I believe it is.
I thought they took all that out.
The
That's what I
sidewalk?
didn't understand.
If it's gone, what's there?
No,
Just a
it's
cliff?
just that little curve right down there at the bottom, I thought.
If you put gravel down, you're gonna, I mean, you could do that.
And gravel's in the street.
Well, it's amazing, they're gonna take it out every time they pull out because it gets in the tire.
Yeah. If we're gonna do something like, extend the garden, I don't know what else to call it. Who's gonna be responsible, I mean, who's gonna do that?
I understand that when y'all have given Willingham that little little space behind it. I mean, that's not extending it
Right.
anymore.
Not anymore, that's right.
And I was thinking if we did anything as far as this, is if we wait until Willingham gets his part up to see what's,
Well, that's still a pretty big area.
right.
You can make a little sitting area or whatever else. In my mind, I mean, that's, plant a couple of trees. I don't know. I mean, you can still do something with that area to make it to where if somebody will take a break and go sit there.
It's another area, it's not an extension.
What's that?
It's another area, it's not.
It's separate area, not an extension.
Yeah.
See how the gazebo in the city there, is what you're saying?
It would be, I'm throwing numbers out there. 30,000 to 40,000 probably pay that whole apartment.
Which, because I remember that came up when we were talking about the just easy for us to pay the whole thing, or was it, no?
Yeah, it's through the price.
Well, that's, somebody walks in, unless the county orders too, we'll get to that here later, but unless the county orders too much hot mix.
Yeah, we got streets that could use that and run a parking lot.
So,
Well, we can come back to this at some point in the future. I don't think it needs to stay
on the table.
on the table. So I make a motion to take no action.
Second,
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
I
And I mean, we can look into it, just like we.
mean, our budget's there now, it's just not feasible. Not a garden, not a parking lot, not anything like that.
If we were gonna be in a hurry for a garden, we would already done that.
For all we know, somebody may buy it and put a building up.
Well, and the lake could fill up, and then we can think about things like this.
We tried to do it. All right, moving along, we move to the table to discuss and take action on a limited use of golf
Because we could do our
carts.
water rates, and then we'd be in the money, and we could do all kinds of fun stuff.
Limited use of golf carts or the like, or system use of delivery of package of parcels.
The only thing that I, thought as an addition to this, one thing that Angelo does is that they, and that, maybe it's on here, I just didn't find it, they require insurance.
Okay.
Liability insurance, proof of liability insurance.
For the vehicle?
Yeah, because here's my fear, right? So we pass this, and it's not limited to EPS, so then people start driving their golf carts, and they're street legal and everything else, they need to have insurance, some proof of insurance for that.
Well, if you're gonna say it has to be licensed, then that comes with insurance, doesn't it? I mean, don't they hand in hand?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that for a golf cart. Because if they possess a valid state license, that looks sounds like a
When you
proper
go down to
license.
get it, when you
It
go
is.
down to get your license plate, they ask for your insurance.
But, no, I don't think they have license plates on the golf cart.
You know, they have to.
Yeah, you can do it now.
You can do it, but I don't think they're requiring that in the insurance. They don't have
Oh,
license
okay,
plates.
okay, I got it.
You just have to have proof of liability.
I talked to, it's interesting because the San Angelo city attorney is the one who sent me this, and she sent me this 3 o'clock Friday afternoon. This is actually Adeline's ordinance, because she came from Adeline. And I said, well, what do y'all do in San Angelo with Bentwood and Cedar, or not Cedar, Riata or Saturday? And she said, well, and she's absolutely right, there's a statute that's passed 4 years ago. If you are a master planned neighborhood, you can allow golf carts on use of,
When did they pass that?
about 4 years ago.
Because they were giving tickets like 3 months ago. Everybody was driving.
Well, it
golf
wasn't-
carts. It's
it wasn't-
to do with-
It wasn't considered a master planned,
They were hanging out in Billwood and pulling on the golf cart.
yeah, they're changing Bentwood to a master plan, but then she told me, they are completely revamping the San Angelo ordinance on golf carts because it's too ambiguous. They were giving tickets, and of course, I guess Bentwood's an affluent part of town, and some lawyer made the argument that your ordinance is ambiguous, and so
Right.
Anyway, they're gonna re-scrap this, so this is what she sent me that was specific to FedEx, and I understand people are gonna mail out their golf carts, but this is only effective from November 1st to December 31. So between, outside of that 2-month window,
Okay.
you can't, it's not like you can go in the middle of October or in
Right.
the middle of May.
Well, this will solve it now. This will solve this problem.
This will get us
This
through.
FedEx on their way.
But if they're involved in an accident and there's no liability
Well,
insurance,
I guarantee you UPS and FedEx have it.
Yes.
But somebody else,
yeah, if somebody else sees this and it doesn't specifically say it, well, it says it's not limited to them.
You wanna put a, you want me to see what, you wanna amend this to put a liability provision in there?
if it's proof of liability insurance, I'm sure UPS and FedEx have it.
Yeah, but there's no reason we can't state the fact they have to.
Yeah,
Because every once in a while, you're gonna get a manager that's gonna push it to the envelope, so he didn't have to mess with his budget, his cost.
right. Yeah. I'm sure they have it. I mean, it'd be stupid for them not.
Oh, I know that.
I mean, they.
Well, yeah, but I don't think this is for, I don't know, Darlene Kelly, who said, I'm delivering packages in my golf cart.
Yeah. Or maybe Santa Claus wants to ride around.
Well, if you're giving Santa Claus a ticket on Christmas,
You're in trouble.
You better do it Christmas Day after it's already busy. That's all I'm saying. So, okay, I make a motion that we approve, the ordinance for golf carts for parcel package delivery with the addition of the requirement for proof of liability insurance.
Okay.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
You okay with that?
oh yeah.
Okay. So is this the edited or modified version compared to the one that I looked at?
Yes.
Okay.
The one you looked at will not be effective in about 90 days.
And Mark, all that sounded good to you?
So this one, okay then.
One of our reckless drivers hit some, they're gonna be injured badly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sir?
But we'll push this one through as far as,
Yeah, that one's done.
okay. Okay.
We just passed it
All right.
If you mind.
with the amendment to it. That was, no, what I'm making.
All right. That's what I was waiting for you.
I mean, at least maybe that way we can limit the number that are on the streets. If all of a sudden this does take off, everybody goes, hey, I didn't know I could run my golf cart around. Well,
Yeah, as long as
it's a
there's.
street eagle,
It
and
says
you-
Well, it's gonna be legal proof of insurance and it has, I mean, this is a parcel delivery, this isn't just anybody and everybody. And this is something we've been doing in Angelo, I know, for at least the last 15 years,
yeah.
so. They started with bicycles pulling a little trailer, then they went to golf carts.
I never see them over there.
But they really just only hit your major, Southwind, Bentwood, Santa Cruz.
It's super efficient, though. A lot more efficient than driving the
Well,
truck around.
during that-
Checks and.
Time of year, your residentials take up to 80% of your volume. So it's like, well, stick somebody out there, let them do that, and we'll do business. That's what they do. All right. Here, the police activity monthly report from Chief Mark McNulty. Chief, sorry for the long, crazy delays this evening.
We've had 405 calls for service in October. Nothing's too terribly out of whack except domestics. We had 13 family violence calls. Everything else is pretty much on par. 32 reports, 14 arrests. That's all I got.
People just like to call you and talk to you.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions. That just covers everything that doesn't fit.
Oh, yeah, I know, I'm just.
Chief, what is welfare check? I guess I haven't seen it.
My name's Susan Johnson. Would you go check on my mother? I live in St. Marcus. Would you go check on my mother? Lives on 8th Street.
Oh,
Stuff like that.
okay,
Because she won't answer her
She
phone.
won't answer her phone.
gotcha.
Or sometimes it's so-and-so's beating up my sister. They live together. Go see if she got beat up tonight.
Okay. Awesome. Any other questions?
All right,
We doing okay across the department?
cross off.
Across the department, everybody's good, everybody's happy?
Yeah, pretty much.
New hours, new stuff is working?
Yeah, they seem to be pretty happy about the hours. There's usually 2 people on duty all the time now.
Compared to where it used to be one or done?
Yeah, unless somebody gets sick or
Right.
something like that.
But it's working out better for everybody, so
That's
that's
going better, yes.
Okay. awesome. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, consider approval of building permits. I thought I saw one.
Yeah, there's one from Jesse Leon. Steve texted me and said he couldn't make it tonight. He had some things that came up at the last minute. I asked him if there was any issues with this. He said none and recommended approval.
I make a motion to approve the building permit as given.
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. 201 South Wood. Is that behind stripes?
Oh, yeah, what is this, yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look. All right, here to city administrator, bye, with your report, please.
You've got your financial statement for the first month of the year in front of you. A lot of zeros. We just started the fiscal year, so there's not a whole lot in there. We haven't made any major capital expenditures this month. If you go through that, if you have any questions, let me know. We did get approval this morning from TxDOT on our water line out by Jason Battle Nursing Home.
Across the 158.
Across the 158. We already have the pipe. We got 95% of the pipe. We'll have the bore underneath 158. That'll be about $3,500. But then this way we'll be able to loop our system. And so we will have ample water pressure to the folks out there at the nursing home, or assisted living center, excuse me. We did have one of our employees involved in an accident on Wednesday. The water truck. Were both drivers ticketed, Mark?
No.
Just the driver?
I believe your driver got failed to yield.
Yeah.
I think.
I didn't know if the other one.
There's another issue with that I'll get with you later about that accident. I was gonna talk to you tomorrow about it.
Okay. The result of the accident was the water truck was severely damaged, will most likely be totaled out, and so we are without a water truck for the moment. We went and looked at one this morning, me and Mr. Rodney Fenwick, sorry. He's Mr. Goodrich, he fixes everything. And Scotty, we went to go look at it. They liked parts of it, except for the mechanical parts of it, which is not good for a truck. So we're at square one on finding replacement. The haul truck, where we haul our material with, the clutch went out on it. We are in the process of repairing that. And we are also in the process of bringing the bid to you guys on a brush truck. And so, those are some of the things we have been working on, trying to get in place. In terms of getting reimbursed on the grant, we did receive, was it 21,000?
Yes.
21,000 last week. We got a fax. I love this about the state of Texas. We have an ACH account with them set up. They put money in there every month for sales tax. The way the process works is TDA tells the comptroller to cut us a check for X amount of dollars. The comptroller sent us a fax to tell us they were mailing us a check.
They're mailing it?
Yes. We will get a check for $70,000 sometime this week, probably. They have 2 weeks to disperse the money, so we should get a check for another $70,000. And then we put in for the final remaining $158,000. So that 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Yes. And we have not received any word on that one yet. Other than that, Again, Veterans Day is going to be a holiday for us. So we will be closed on Veterans Day. That is next Wednesday.
After water bills are due.
They are holding elections here tomorrow. We are a polling station. They will be here. Bonnie, do we have logistics set up for them to get here at 6:30 or whenever they need to be here?
I got a call the lady after the meeting's over, come set up.
Okay, do we need to be here at 6:30 to open the doors?
No, they have to keep.
Okay. They'll be here from 6:30 to probably 7:30, whenever the polls close. If you haven't voted, go out and vote. If you've already voted, vote again.
Let me do that.
I'm just taking after what they did in
Just go
Chicago.
vote. Yeah.
That's it. That's what I got. Any questions, concerns, comments, issues? We are working on 11th Street. We zipped part of 11th Street, which is the asphalt chunks it up. And the first 2 blocks there were no base, so we were very concerned. Scotty said he found some good subgrade, so it's getting better the further back towards the railroad we're going. I'm assuming when they put those streets back in the day, they went from the railroad and went back towards the school. And so they probably have a better street the closer you get to the railroad track, and it's going to be worse the closer you get to Football City. But we're zipping that. We were really making some good progress still. The water truck, it's running.
And the whole trip.
And the haul truck.
Can't do a whole lot if you want to.
8th Street, I noticed it coming down a little bit more.
Yes.
They blocked some driveways over the weekend.
Well, they blocked the street. They didn't block the driveway. They blocked.
They blocked somebody's driveway because there was a sign up said, "Do not block this driveway." And they made their own little board to drive over.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. It's just progressing. It's about to get worse. We have hit. I don't know if you saw it driving home or whatever, but we've hit rock.
Oh, big
Boulders.
rocks. Yeah, I saw those.
Huge,
Yeah.
huge boulders.
You come over to Phil King's house and you can see some of the sizes of what they're going to be
Yeah.
pulling out.
And it's only going to get worse the more we go back down towards
Riverbend Road.
towards Baptist Church and towards your office.
Yeah.
Rock reminds me of the sewer plant. We have completed everything. Construction's done. We still have a bunch of riprap out there, trying to figure out what we're going to do with it. We were notified by Hibbs and Todd that they are now going to change the permit on the sewer farm so we can discharge out of Pond 4. I have asked Clyde to notify them to not do any further action. I wanted to see what King Martin would charge for us, charged on that. And so that's where we are on the sewer farm. Questions, issues, concerns?
So we're not allowed to use that until we get a permit?
We don't need it, really.
We don't need it. We are probably the only city in Texas that has more sewer capacity than we do water resources.
We're ready for the vote.
They were talking about what Texas Midwest, what they said, the issue with shortage of water.
Oh, yeah. Texas Midwest, Texas Water Development Board did a presentation on regional planning, regional projects, and how they can help. And I heard his spiel, and I heard the guy from TCEQ, and they asked for questions. And the city manager at Goldthwaite knew exactly what I was going to ask. And he was looking for anybody other than me to ask a question. And so finally he just gave me the mic. And I asked them, now I explained to everybody what our situation was with Water Development Board. And then I asked them, how many regional projects have you funded? And he paused for a good 15 or 20 seconds and looked down and shook his head. And he said, I think we did a regional project in Houston 12 years ago. they, as we have found out, have no funding mechanism for a regional project. And I just said it was very, you know, you need to be more honest and open with these smaller cities that are trying to work together, the logistics of how this. And so, my frustration was unleashed on a guy who had no idea what I was talking about.
Did you ever give me any cities in the Houston area?
No. No, he left as soon as that thing was over with. So, any other?
That it? All right, moving along. A request for future agenda items from city council.
Phil's got this,
Glad I was not there.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know you.
Phil's got this look.
No, you didn't have to worry about Robert Lee took care of the rest.
Robert Lee, yeah, Robert Lee.
They did?
He explained.
Huh?
He explained.
He did?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Marshall.
Marshall who?
No.
He's a mayor now?
No,
No.
he's on the board of the Water Supply Corporation.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. Okay, we met him. All right, are there any other further requests for future agenda items from city council?
We got a late request in on Friday from Judge Hilliard about an interlocal agreement between the county and the city. We had already posted the agenda, and so that is why it's not on the agenda today. And we informed them today it never made it. So we will have to take that back up on the 16th. I need to read the specifics, but I've been approached by the city of Miles and the city of Winters, who have the exact same information I do. And essentially, the county wants to start charging us for services they provide us, vis-a-vis the way we've done it in the past.
Okay, that's fine, as long as they pay us for the service we provide them.
That's going to be a problem for them.
Well, but
I
I got a
agree.
problem with paying for services when we don't get paid for the services we.
Yes. Yes, and
Or if you get us a 484B, whatever.
Oh, make a change.
I talked to Scotty today about, Scotty and Rodney, when we went to go look at the truck. I talked about this with those guys. They're going to get me some numbers, some better numbers, but their estimate was going to be pretty dead on. And this will, if they want to do this with us and we reciprocate in kind, it's going to be expensive for Runnels County. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, I mean, we all have budget issues.
It will not be to their benefit to do that. Significantly. So. But we will take this up on the 16th.
All right.
Are there any other agenda items that we need to bring up and discuss?
We're still,
At some point, I'd like an economic development update. I know golden chicks are coming up at sometime in November, and where are we at with anything else?
I will tell you on Golden Chick, John Hagan, I was hopeful we would get something today. John Hagan has a tentative invitation for us to go on. They're going to open on the 9th of November. That's the plan, and it has not changed. There's a tentative invitation for us to go on Sunday, the 8th, I think at night. They typically try to train their staff to get ready for the opening day, and so they've invited us to participate in that.
Oh, cool.
So go get you some chicken and.
They give you a time?
You know, more than the water questions, I get, where's the chicken place open?
November.
People don't even ask me about water anymore, they go, we need to get some chicken.
And they keep asking me, what is the name? What is the name?
Golden Chick, November the 9th.
we need to get more business in town, so we don't have to worry about those water questions.
Here's the other, you mentioned water. Philip asked me today. I've been approached a lot over since Sunday, which yesterday, obviously. We did not receive any significant rise out of Lake Ballinger with the recent rain.
Even though Valley Creek is a saltwater community.
It's trickling into the old lake. We did experience some issues at the water treatment plant that we are going to have to, we are pumping from the bottom of Lake Ivy, and that's just the only way of putting it. And every Thursday afternoon, every system on Lake Ivy was probably quintupling the amount of chlorine they put into the water, because whatever's coming out of Ivy was just eating chlorine.
And Ivy got 0 in this last spring.
Yes.
A little bit lower than they were before the rain.
I'm gonna wait and see how because the Concho was running pretty good Saturday, so we'll see.
Yeah, it wasn't anything in there today.
Yeah, I'm kind of, if it doesn't show up by tomorrow, it's not gonna be there.
If we'd have just got that 13 inches at San Marcos and New Braunfels and Austin, Waco, all that, it was a 100-mile long stretch that all got 13 inches.
It just went.
All up to Dallas got 15.
Austin got 14, I think.
Just one of them, that's all we need.
Just one.
Oh, yeah.
One of those filled by water.
We're gonna have to hold on tight for when we get it.
That's fine.
That's part of what comes with. Part of it. All right, let's move along. Ballinger City Council should meet in executive session as authorized by Texas Government Code, section 551.071, consultation with city attorney. Here, update report on alternative water sources.